You there. Sorry, we did not ask your names.
Captain Sorpin.
It's good to meet you, Captain. I am Jedi Knight Lodi. That is Knight Bekros. And I was wondering, we have extra seats on our vectors that we could use to transport the two of you to Bespin or Bava or whatever port of your choosing. But we do need a way to get the two of you onto our ships. Is there a room with spacesuits to place you in that you could put on or something?
Yes, I'll go back and see if it's still part of the ship.
And he goes off in the direction of your vectors.
Yeah, that should be fine.
Lodi, why don't you go with him?
Okay.
I would like my vector to still be there.
Let's split up the group even more.
I also imagined Bekros saying that, popping his head out from inside a computer to say that.
He was under, messing with some of the wires and slides out.
Do you want to roll computers or mechanics? Either way, it's going to be hard.
Okay. They're both the same.
Okay.
So I have 2 success and 2 threat.
Okay. You get that thing going. And as you do, the power comes on to at least a portion of the bridge. You can scroll through footage of the attack. A ship that is pretty familiar to you now. This one that you were on with Kel the other day, the Sawantech, comes into frame, and it looks like it uses grappling cables in conjunction with some smaller ships that are sort of popping in and out of view. In a very strange manner. You can see little, almost like flames, like little green bits on the backs of them as they pop in and out of frame. And there's lots of blaster fire. As the cable is pulled taut, parts of the ship come apart with it. Definitely Nihil, but something weird is going on with the way these ships work.
Great. Any way to download this footage, this evidence?
You got 2 threats, so I'm going to say no.
I wondered if that's what that would be.
Yeah, I think the input and output ports of this thing are fried.
So Bekros takes a pretty intense look at this footage. He tries to play it and scrub through it a few times to commit as much as he can to memory, since it can't be taken with him. Mm-hmm. And he turns to Gleedo and is just like, I found your problem. The Nihil attacked you.
Yeah, that was the problem. I didn't know it was the Nihil, but could have figured as much.
Did you see these weird ships popping in and out?
No, I was trying to put out fires, literally.
Oh, that's fair. I mean, I would want the fires on the ship out as well. Just didn't know if you had any additional insight. I think this is just about as much as we can recover here. Let's make our way back to your captain and see if we can't get you off the ship in someplace safe.
Meanwhile, out in the cold void of space, about a half an hour has gone by. It's been very quiet. There's not much movement except for the slow spins of these asteroids as Horbo and his master patrol the local area. I'd like a hard cool check from Horbo.
Hard cool check, huh?
Yep. Horbo's in this tight ship, and you can almost feel the lack of atmosphere on the outside of it. And nothing's happening. It feels like something should be happening. His vision, things happened today. Things are going to happen, but nothing's happened.
Do I get a boost for my vision?
No.
My first roll of the game. Oh, also, since this is the first roll of my game, do I get an automatic success?
You do, because you are still in concert with your master.
Okay. I got 3 successes somehow, and 4 threats. That's
4 threats.
really
You're going
bad.
to take 2 strain.
Oh, what the heck?
But you do manage to keep your cool in this stressful situation.
Okay.
What is it like out there? What is Horbo seeing?
I think, like you said, it's incredibly quiet. It's so quiet that the silence is kind of oppressive to Harbo, especially since he has not had any contact with the Jedi on the vessel, and he and his master have not spoken in about 30 minutes. And Harbo continues to think about that vision that he foresaw. And yeah, maybe Horbo almost started to wonder if what he saw was even true. So he may have a little bit of self-doubt, but because of that, him trying to push down what he saw, he is trying to focus and stay vigilant, knowing that he and his master they're on the job and they're there to protect their fellow Jedi on that ship. And also maybe a couple of Horbo's snacks sort of float in 0G around his face in the cockpit of this ship.
Meanwhile, on the ship, Lodi and Captain Sorpin are gathering supplies. There are a number of exosuits in the back of this ship, and in a range of sizes. You can see that there were some smaller ones, some larger ones, and some that are about the size of Cleto and Sorpin. You each grab one and head back to the cockpit.
Or to the bridge?
Okay. To the bridge, yep. You make it to the bridge and find that Bekros has found some footage.
Oh, good. Have you transferred the data yet? Are we taking a piece of equipment with us?
The ports are fried and it's in the computer, so you may want to take a look at it as well. And I'm doing my best to commit it to memory. And
is there not a small part of the computer we can take with us, like a hard drive or something?
I could yank the board out. There's like a 50-50 chance that the data be recoverable. The droids can get it soldered on correctly. Right, Mark?
First, I'll take a knowledge warfare, knowledge outer rim check from Lodi.
Okay.
As she sees the footage.
What are my knowledges? Let's find out.
It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be 3 purples.
Knowledge outer rim?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You got something in knowledge outer rim? Okay. You have 3 light side points.
Oh, there's 3 of them now.
We got 3 of them for you now.
What have you been spending dark side points?
They shot at us when we got the thing. And...
Yep.
Okay. That made me nervous for a second. I was just like, what has he been spending his points on?
Oh, you'll see.
I'm sure I will. Okay, then I changed one of those green to a yellow.
Okay, so we're hoping 1 light side point.
Yeah.
For an upgrade.
Yeah. And going to argue for a boost die, because if this is in, like, what is this knowledge check related to exactly?
What you're seeing on the screen.
Okay. So I definitely know what that ship looks like because I've seen it before, right before I got shot.
Mm-hmm.
So boost die for that.
No.
Fine.
Because you're paying it. You have seen that ship before. There's nothing particularly special about what that ship is doing. It's just trying to pull this other ship apart. It's the background ships that are interesting.
The background ships.
How about a boost die
because I see a lot of ships at Cloud City.
Them out.
Bekros is pointing them out. And what did you say, Erica?
I see a lot of
Cloud City.
I see a lot of ships at Cloud City.
You don't see a lot of ships like these in Cloud City.
Well, I have a boost die for an assist from Bekros.
You know what? You don't, because Bekros failed this check in our first adventure.
I think I know what it's for then. But that doesn't mean Lodi knows. Okay, fine. I'm giving up. 1 threat.
1 threat. Those ships in the background are doing some weird things. And it's unlikely that you're going to be able to get this footage off of this computer.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
We could probably send a Republic long beam out here later in order to retrieve the wreckage.
Sure, but I can grab the board.
You could, but you did...
grab the board?
Okay.
Will I get bonus XP for being reckless?
for giving into your emotional weakness. I don't think that's how that works.
No.
I think that's conflict there.
Oh, well, I just meant enthusiastic. I'm enthusiastic about Lodi's plan here.
You're being enthusiastically reckless.
The same thing, right?
Let's get that recklessness. Let's get a hard computers check, because all the checks on this thing are hard, with a setback for that last threat.
Just stalling while I try and think of some boost dice. Probably won't be able to think of any.
Do you have the right tools for the job? Isn't that a thing you have?
I do have mental tools. It always counts as having the right tools for the job on any mechanics checks I make. This is mechanics checks,
okay.
right?
Mechanics. Yeah, those are mechanics checks.
Because I'm physically removing something from this computer. I'm not making a computers check, right? I'm making mechanics.
I'll allow a mechanics check. Yeah.
Okay. I won't waste any more time with this reckless plan. Oh, the boost is blank. It's a lot of threat, but
Great.
all the dice are threat. So there's no failures rolled, which means I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 success. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 threats.
You got it out.
Just reach in, grab the general area that the hard drive ripped it out, right?
Yep, you pulled the hard drive out. How many threats?
4.
All right. The threat counter is on.
Oh no. That's a lot of threat to add to the threat counter.
That is a lot of threat to the threat counter. All right. You've got the hard drive in hand. You've got exosuits to get off this ship. What is next for Lodi and Bekros?
I think we should leave.
Yeah,
Point
it's
hanging around.
definitely, it's time to leave. This way. Yeah.
You head through the ship. Outside the bridge, it is still very dark. The pretty much windowless trawler. You can hear the groaning of metal as bits of it that got blasted apart just don't want to stay together any longer. And you make it back to that escape pod airlock that you came in through. Suit up and head out to your ships.
Harbo, we're coming to you.
Do Harbo and Master Zarias see anything? Has anything changed in this asteroid field?
No, it's been quiet. It's these big looming rocks over you. Just nothing out here.
Harbo says, "Copy, Bekros. Everything's clear out here."
Things will get a little risky as we make our way to the vectors here, as we float over. Why don't you guys come in close so nothing has an opportunity to surprise us?
Good luck, Bekros.
Okay, are you coming?
We're on our way.
Thank you.
I like to imagine that whole exchange that Bekros is having, where he's like hanging back in the airlock and Lodi is already making her way, like one hand on the ship and one hand on the captain, as she guides him to her vector. There's no point in waiting around.
No point in waiting around.
Okay. You load these crew members into your ships and...
Don't touch anything.
This is some kind of neat ship, but is that there's supposed to be some insulation or something? It's pretty cold.
We have the force for insulation.
What?
You get situated and fly out from this ship into the asteroid belt. The two of you meet up with Master Zarias and Horbo and get into formation, flying towards the hyperspace jump point, I would assume. Probably heading back to Cloud City or Bava.
I'm definitely asking the Captain Sorpan on his preference on where he'd like to go.
And what is Bekros doing?
Bekros is assuming that we're heading back to our base of operations. These folks are lucky to be alive, and they are along for the ride.
What is Horbo doing in his cockpit?
Horbo is going to ping his master exclusively, private comm, just to say, "Master, what are our orders? Do we follow the other Jedi, or do we have other business?"
Getting these people home safely is our only business right now. We will follow Jedis Lodi and Bekros.
Copy, Master. I will try.
Daunting perception check from everybody.
Daunting?
Horrible
like
has no... Horrible has no
purples.
perception at all.
That's
Tiny little
Yep.
beady eyes.
I bought a talent tree that will let me buy talents for perception later if I don't blow up. Daunting's 4 or 5? It's 4. Yeah.
4.
I don't like this.
A failure and a threat.
Great.
3 threats.
A failure and 3 threats.
Wow. We stink.
Wow. Yeah. You stink, but you're lucky. Not that lucky. Blaster fire strafes across the bow of Lodi's ship.
This is my ship.
And as soon as it just goes right across the nose of it. The wing of Bekros vector is hit.
Crap, I'm hit again. Just buffed that. Am I taking 5?
You didn't quite see where it came from. You know it came from somewhere in front of you, and everybody's going to roll initiative. So, I'm going to give Lodi and Bekros an opportunity here to use a rule that I only just came across today, that I barely knew existed, and that is called a mindful assessment. Rather than initiative, being vigilance in this case, you can roll an average perception or knowledge check as your initiative, but it has difficulty.
I think I'll take the vigilance since my knowledge is the same as my vigilance, but comes with no difficulty to it.
This does come up with the opportunity to get stuff from your results. Yeah, in addition to an initiative slot.
Pray tell, what are perhaps some of the benefits?
When combat begins, a character may, with the GM's permission, attempt a mindful assessment check to determine initiative. The PC makes a skill check for mindful assessment instead of one for initiative and contributes a PC initiative slot as if having made an initiative roll that generated no success and no advantage. So basically you go last, but you get stuff. So you could potentially remove setbacks, add setbacks to other people's initiative. Yeah, so it's helping other people's initiative more than anything else.
I love doing new things, but I think that I'm going to stick with initiative because
if you got a triumph, you would get to add +2 damage to whatever attack you throw at them.
I'm gonna try the new rule. So,
Cool.
What is it? I'm rolling a perception check.
An average perception
So
or
that's
knowledge.
2 green or 2 purple. Sorry.
Yep,
Cool.
2 purples.
So that is a yellow, a green, a blue, and 2 purple. A triumph, a success, and a threat.
Okay. So with your triumph, you could remove a setback from your character's combat checks targeting the chosen adversary during this encounter. You could add a setback to combat checks the chosen adversary makes targeting your character. Add 2 setbacks to combat checks the chosen adversary makes targeting this character's allies. Triumph. Wow, you get all the things. Add an additional boost to the character's combat checks targeting a chosen adversary, or add +2 damage to 1 hit from a successful attack they make against that adversary this encounter.
I like the setback for the adversary against my allies.
Okay, so the one that attacked you always gets a setback when attacking
Yes.
your allies.
Yes.
2 setbacks. Okay. So basically, you have made yourself this person's target, and if they don't target you, they're in trouble.
Sounds right.
Yeah. And then, so that means that your initiative is basically is last slot, and then Padawan, roll your initiative.
That is going to be my vigilance.
Your vigilance.
Can I get a boost because I passed that earlier check about related to my vigilance? It was my cool. Yes? Okay.
Yes, I'll allow it.
A success and an advantage.
And your master is last. Okay, so it is PC, 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 NPC, NPC, PC, including the master. Y'all can choose when the master should go. So you failed that daunting perception check. So you did not see the attacks as they come, but you're able to see the direction at which they came. They came from in front and above the 4 vectors. You see the small green, almost flames in the distance in the star field that you were able to see in that video, the video feed from the ship. And I think I'm going to flip a dark side point right off the bat to say that Gledo begins to panic. And behind Bekros in his ship, he just hears the rapid breathing and almost unrecognizable language of this Rhodian starting to freak out.
Give me 1 second to look some stuff up. So anybody who wants to go first, go first.
Over comms, Lodi goes, do we flee or do we eliminate this threat?
If they're shooting at us, I think we should shoot back. Kel and I tried not shooting back, and it didn't work out. So
They are between us and the hyperspace jump point. We need to do something.
I mean, clearly, but it's the difference between flying around them and evading their fire, or
there's a lot less to evade if
destroying
there's a lot
them.
less of them. Just say it.
Master, might I recommend making our way towards the jump point and defending ourselves on our way there?
A solid suggestion. Lodi, Bekros?
a natural one.
I'm good with that. Just let's. I'm already hit. Let's not. I don't want to be hit again.
We're also using Genesis ship rules, just so you know. So range works exactly the same as if we're firing blasters at each
So
other.
I still have that +1 range defense.
No, because that is you and not your ship. Just to start off, what speed is everybody going? Your max speed is
3?
5.
I was thinking
That
3
seems
as
like
well.
a good number.
Going 3.
Yeah, not max speed.
At least 3 is great. All right, so who's going first?
I guess Bekros will go first.
Everyone else took long enough that Bekros can go first now.
now.
And we're going to say that you are currently at medium range from
Okay.
these ships. You can see the glowing green on their engines, but you can't quite make out the actual ships yet. And there are 4 of them.
Okay, but I can make an attack from medium range, right?
We're just going to do it.
I don't actually see the attack one in here on the list in Genesis. Okay, you have to adjudicate one more thing for me, Mark. So I have a talent that is a maneuver, that is imbue item. And it says that I can suffer 1 strain and commit a force dice to grant 1 weapon, piece of armor, or item an improvement. So what I would like to do is take that strain and imbue the vector weapon system in particular with the starship equivalent of blast.
Okay, we can do that. Since you're committing your force die, though, you don't get that improved handling.
Well, Bekros is force 2, so 1 is committed towards handling and 1 is committed towards
force 2 with no force powers. Okay,
because he's an artisan. He's committed to feeling 1 with his ship as a hotshot, and so that's the talent tree that he took the force rating on, and all of that.
Perfect.
So both his dice are committed.
Okay,
He's suffering 1 strain, and he is giving his forward-mounted twin laser cannon the blast quality. Now I suffer a strain for every round that it stays committed, so we'll see how this first attack goes, and then go from there.
And you are going to shoot at the one that shot you. As your vectors speed towards these ships, they're speeding towards you at similar speed. And they're growing larger and larger in your viewports as you approach them.
He calls back to Gledo behind him. Just calm down. Watch this. It's gonna be fine. And he pulls the trigger We're saying average, is that right?
Yes.
And then does handling doesn't apply to shooting, or does it?
It does not. The ship has 1-4 shield, so 1 setback. Hi, stop.
Too many books open. All right.
Yeah, I've got 4 books open.
We're gonna roll.
Now. That doesn't sound good.
I rolled all failures on the purple dice, so it means that I have 4 advantage.
4 advantages. So Bekros lightsaber is green, right? Yeah, so what are these green blasts? Is that how it works? So lightsaber color is also the ship laser color?
I like it. Can we keep it even if it's not?
Sure.
All right.
We're doing it. So these green blasts emanate from these sort of like spindly things on the sides coming out of the Vector's wings. And they get close to this one ship that shot towards you, but miss.
But because Bekros is concentrated and he's got his hands on the controls and he's closed his eyes in concentration with the Force, those green laser blasts, as they approach the ship that he's firing at, they explode in a flak-like way and blast.
Do they explode on like a little asteroid or something?
Sure.
Or do they just...
Since I got 4 advantages, 3 of them will be blast to give some damage to it.
Yeah.
I'm just...
Yeah. What
it's
how
gonna
much
be
damage?
Base damage to be 6, right?
Mm-hmm. All right. It hits. And this ship, as it's coming closer, you're getting a view at it. It has that same sort of cobbled together look that the Sawantek had, and it swerves off to its left towards a large asteroid. Who's next?
It's boring, but I think I'll use my final advantage to recover the strain I spent to imbue the item.
I guess I'll go next. My question is, with the vectors, you can commit a force die in order to handle the ship better. But when I do piloting space checks, I have a force die for enhance. But I only have a force rating of 1. Do I have to, pick between them?
Yes. You get to use enhance with piloting? Wow. So yeah, the adding your force rating to your piloting check would mean you would have 2 setback dice, but the opportunity to have successes or advantages, depending on how you roll and how you want to spend them. And committing would mean you would just have 2 boost dice, with no guaranteed success or advantage. But since you can always roll a pip on a force die, that's always a success or an advantage.
Yeah, provided I use it if the dark side answers.
Just make things so much easier.
Yeah, wrong night. Anyway. Okay, so I heard a maneuver that allows me to drive dangerously. So I know that...
So you want to close in on an asteroid?
Yeah, I have an adversary who will only want to fire at me. So I want to make that hard for him. I'm going to go with enhance instead. We'll see how that goes for me.
Sure. Your difficulty is the silhouette of your vehicle, which is 3. You're going speed 3, so I'm not going to give you any setback dice. Unless you want to use your maneuver to increase your speed.
I already have 2 setback die. I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
I feel like enhance and drift should go hand in hand, though. They're basically the same thing. But whatever. That's just me.
You just need 2 force dice for it. Back
Can I have a boost die for having a co-pilot who isn't panicking?
What did you tell the captain to do?
All right, Captain, we are going to get up and close with these asteroids to make the things difficult for our Nihil friends here. Think you can plot a course for me?
That is... You got a heck of a course in front of you. The captain studies the terrain of this asteroid, and I guess it probably pops up on the readout in front of you. He's got maybe a little data point to his right. And you're going to... Well, here's the thing. I have to give you 2 setback dice for the difficult terrain, and you're going to remove both of them. That's how it's going to go. And he also got a triumph. So if you want a free upgrade, You can do that.
2 yellow die instead of a green and a yellow. I'm good with that. No boost though? Okay. Okay,
No.
I will roll it.
His advantages and threats canceled out, so no
and I
boosts.
will roll it. Where did that die go? There it is. 1 success, 1 threat, and 2 dark side pips, which ignored.
You could cancel out that threat.
Ignored.
Your ship would not take the 1 system strain that it's going to take. All right. So what is this asteroid like? What is Lodi's maneuvering like? What is she trying to do?
Get some asteroids in between me and that Nihil. So it's very fluid. I imagine asteroids are always like constantly moving and bumping into each other.
Mm-hmm.
So the ship is spinning and turning and ducking and weaving around, constantly spinning and turning and moving asteroids as well.
And as Lodi maneuvers her ship into this cluster of asteroids, Horbo, whose turn is next, if he so desires, sees 3 of these Nihil ships begin to break off and follow her.
How much strain is the ship taking? Okay.
1. So these 3 ships, Horbo has never seen any ships like these before. They don't look like any particular ship. They look like bits and pieces of multiple ships. And they've got this strange green glow from the back and top. And a little swarm of 3 of them breaks off from that one other one and starts following Lodi in her vector.
Horbo says, Lodi, they're breaking off, following you. I'm on them. And Horbo's going to break away from his master and go after these 3. So there's 3 fighters following Lodi, or just 1? 3. That's
3.
what I thought. Yeah. Horbo's gonna try and get into range where he can make some shots at these fighters.
All right, so Horbo zips away from his master and towards these 3 Nihil ships, and you can roll an attack.
Okay. I'm gonna have a very straightforward turn here.
It's a gunnery, and it's average.
Okay. I always think this sounds like such baloney, but can I get a boost for can I aim? Okay, here's what I want to do.
You can totally aim.
I'm gonna make it sound like less baloney. I'm gonna aim at the middle of these 3. That way, if Horbo misses, maybe it'll hit the adjacent ones.
Sure.
I rolled well and bad simultaneously. What in the heck? It seemed so good at first. I rolled a wash with a triumph and a threat. Sad.
Okay.
Did you count the success of the triumph?
Yeah.
I was always hoping.
Yeah.
Light blue fire erupts from Horbo's cannons on his vector and misses the center of these 3 ships. What do you want to do with that triumph?
Maybe Horbo's blue blaster fire is just so close to these fighters. A couple of shots kind of shoot off in quick succession, and I think that the ships are sort of trying to dodge, though that's almost impossible, and 2 of them bump into each other a little bit. I think that they should either take setbacks on their turn or should have to diverge away because of this fire and are no longer following Lodi. What do you think?
They can either divert and go a different way, or we can upgrade their next check. So they get a red on their next check.
What do you prefer?
Not having 3 on my tail or having it be harder for them.
Yeah. Okay, how about they have to divert? They are no longer in hot pursuit.
Can I ask the question real quick of the driving dangerously upgrades the attacks these would be making on Lodi, right?
Driving dangerously means that they're going to have to perform the same attack or the same action. They're going to have to also do some dangerous driving to follow.
And
Lodi.
if we upgrade that and we're in an asteroid field.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we upgrade it. And so they don't divert. They're still in hot pursuit, but they have a very hard check. And Maybe there's some bad stuff happens, or at least they miss a lot.
Maybe you shatter an asteroid or something like that, and so even though Lodi made it past, there's now a scattering of even more dangerous terrain.
I like that as a creative solution.
How does Erica feel about the fact that I made 3 fighters stay on Lodi's tail, though?
I mean, we saw what the same asteroid field did with 2 TIE fighters, so come on.
Yeah, time and time again, asteroid fields are not friendly to bad guy ships. You have 3 light side points. Do you want to upgrade this any further?
I say yeah. See how easy we can make this encounter for us. How many fighters are left?
There are 4 total. So we've got 2 reds in this pool right now.
That sounds great.
You may have guessed at this point that we've got 3 minions and an ace.
Is it the minions chasing me, or is it the ace?
The minions are chasing you. It is a failure. So these 3 ships, as Horbo's laser fire from his ship goes past them and hits these asteroids burst into thousands of pieces. The 3 Nihil ships that were chasing Lodi scatter and separate in different directions. The one that is gunning for Bekros was just hit by Bekros's blast and had to maneuver off to its left into the asteroid field. It is going to try to gain the advantage on Bekros. Oh, it's not fast enough. Okay, it is going to speed up and try to gain the advantage on Bekros. All right, that is an average check with piloting.
Just average? That doesn't seem right. Seems like...
It's average because vehicle speed is 1 or more higher than the target vehicle.
I'm sure it's within the rules, but I'm like, my piloting should come into effect here.
Yes. But... Right. This ship is going speed 4, you're going speed 3. Dangerous terrain, I'm going to add a setback to that. You have anything else you need me to add to that?
My handling, maybe.
Oh, his handling. That's a good point.
Oh.
Oh, he doesn't have any handling. Okay.
So do I add setback because of handling?
I don't think so.
This committed force dice is doing me nothing.
All right, he's going to gain the advantage here with 1 success and 3 advantages. The pilot of this Nihil ship slips off behind some rocks, almost sort of like drifting off behind some rocks, and slams on its engines right when it's about 90 degrees from you, and gets up right behind you.
So I'm actually just curious. A Jedi Master is... So there's Padawan, there's Jedi, and there's Masters, is that right? So is Master Zarias, like, in some ways the authority in this group of 4?
In some ways. I think she's a little bit older. I think she's been around the galaxy a bit more than anybody, maybe with the exception of Kel. And she probably took the assignment out here to give Horbo the opportunity to be in more natural environments, places that were not the big city. But yeah, I think she would be the highest rank here. But I also think within the Jedi in this time period, there's a lot of respect. Lower rank doesn't necessarily mean less good ideas come from that person. So I think more so than what we see during the Clone Wars, the Jedi here listen to each other and are, I guess, a little bit more empathetic towards each other.
My thought was that maybe that Master Zarias goes for the ace, knowing that they're like the most formidable of their foes. But I don't know how they might do that. I don't know if you all have any thoughts on how they might do it, or do you have other ideas?
She sees that the minions that were chasing Lodi and that Harbo diverted a little bit. But then she sees the ace that's right on Bekros' tail, and it's just like, that seems like the more immediate problem.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Path of the Storm. Today's episode was produced by Nightcast Creative. To find out more about Nightcast Creative and the shows that we make, visit nightcastcreative.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by Dicey Cantina and Erica Goodwitch. For more of Dicey Cantina, visit diceycantina.com or youtube.com/c/Dicey Cantina. Thanks to Krystal, Nicki, and James from the University of Coruscant for lending their voices to this episode. The seed for this adventure can be found as the modular encounter Phantoms in the Dark in the Strongholds of Resistance supplement for the Star Wars role-playing game by Fantasy Flight Games and Edge Studios.